We are Gold Ivy, a health company dedicated to simplifying health and wellness. The industry is lacking the honest experience and grit required to overcome the struggle, and we're here to fill that gap.
You decide what works for your daily life and how to transform our lessons into your gold. Join us on the fearless pursuit of self-discovery and growth.
This is Ivy Unleashed,
a Gold Ivy production.
Hello, and welcome back. You are listening to Ivy Unleashed, here with Brooke and Andrea. How are we doing?
I'm so pumped to talk about this topic today.
Because it's changed our lives.
It really has. And I didn't think it was possible.
We thought we were night owls.
Mm-hmm.
And then something happened.
Yes. I decided for me, it was flipping it and trying something new. Trying this morning thing. I was convinced I was a night owl. That's just who I was. Mm-hmm. And I had no interest. I used to actually tell my clients, you couldn't pay me to get up before 6 a.m. I actually used to say that. Now I'm like, why was I doing that before?
Damn, they should have paid you.
I know. So I flipped it and now I'm obsessed. You're obsessed. And that's why we're like, we got to talk about this and we got to narrow this down to what are the essentials. And we narrowed it down to 3 things, and they all happen to start with M's. So we have the 3 M's of our morning routine.
Yes, and they are the 3 things that have been game changers for us. We can't imagine our morning routine without them, and we notice when we forget one. You know, Andrea and I are 10 years apart, and her reason for having to get up early is completely different than my reason. It's to get up before her kiddos, to get work done, before her house is full of noise and screaming kiddos. And I got up early to fight depression is really what has helped me the most, is starting my day off the way I want the rest of my day to go. Starting and setting an intention of this is how my day is going to go. And when I nail that morning routine, my day is on fire. Mm-hmm. There's no stopping us.
Yep.
And we want to share what's worked for us with you guys. It's easy to remember. It's the 3 M's. Should we get into it?
Yes.
So the first M is my favorite, meditation. It's what I start my day doing. And if I miss a meditation, I am anxious for the whole day. I overthink everything. I'm not in my body, which with my health and just being an anxious person, it's been a game changer for me, and I never thought I would be into it. And it's something as easy as downloading an app, listening to someone else talk. I always pick people that have accents because it's soothing and fun to listen to. And it's 5 to 10 minutes, and that's it. And it's deep breathing, and it's connecting my breath and my body. And it's called mindfulness, but it's really mindlessness because you aren't thinking. Your goal is to focus on your breath, and when thoughts come, you notice them and you let them go. And you realize that you are merely an observer of your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. And by focusing on your breath, as great as it is to calm the head, calm your heart, there's so much research behind how amazing it is as far as boosting your immune system, helping with health, depression, anxiety, chronic pain. The list goes on and on. But what is mindfulness? Why is it so important? And I love this definition that I found from John Kabat-Zinn. He's a leader in the field, and he defines mindfulness as the awareness that emerges through paying attention on purpose, in the present moment, and non-judgmentally to the unfolding of experience moment by moment. So when we practice meditation, mindfulness, we are practicing being in the present moment. When we're in the present moment, we're not thinking about all the things we have to do. We're not thinking about the past. We're being where our feet are. And when we're present, we can align with what's important to us. What do we want to get done? And we can just be. This act of doing and being. And all the time we are go, 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 that we've forgotten what it's like to just be. And I'm so guilty of that.
Well, yeah, and I've read a lot of studies about how meditation helps your productivity. Mm-hmm. And it's so interesting because it's something I put on the back burner a lot because I want to get to the stuff that I need to be productive with. And instead, it's kind of like getting the most bang for your buck. Like you think that, you know, if I just get to my work right away and knock stuff out, I'm going to be more productive throughout my day. But in reality, it's like taking some steroids before it all, or like a extra cup of coffee or whatever.
Yes.
It's going to make you more focused. It's going to make you more productive. It's going to give you that, like, I know what I'm doing and I'm focusing on this only. And because you started with that mindfulness and that meditation, you have that skill of being able to really calm and focus on one thing at a time.
When we are in the present moment and we're not worrying about the past or the future, we can think with our prefrontal cortex, right? This part of our brain, our adult brain, that we can make choices that are important to us and that we want to make. We're not making choices out of impulses. And what it does is it turns that amygdala part of our brain off, which is the fight or flight. It's the constant, we're running away from a bear, even though we're not, which causes a plethora of different health issues. So it's this idea of turning the part of your brain off that is causing you stress and anxiety, and it's tapping into the part where you're calm, you're in control, you're in a peaceful place, and you can just observe and have no judgment. You notice your thoughts, you notice them, you say, oh, okay. And if you don't like the thought you're having, choose again.
Okay.
Pick a different thought.
So you doing this meditation practice every morning, you feel like this carries you throughout the day. Like this is like the biggest bang for your buck. This is your jam.
Yes. Yeah. Because then I know throughout the day when I'm, you know, feeling a little anxious or I just have these ruminating thoughts, I can take a deep breath. I can do, you know, meditation in the morning is amazing, but it also helps me to tap into it throughout the day. So I notice the benefits right away in the morning. And then during the day, I'm like, okay, take a deep breath, inhale, exhale, put my right hand on my heart, my left hand on my stomach, and just do a hold, which is great too. And I'll do that in the morning when I meditate. Also, you know, you can breathe in peace, exhale stress. There's all these different visualizations. The app I use is Insight Timer, and it also shows you how many you've done in a row. So you can challenge yourself. Kara gave me that one. Shout out Kara Hatch. I also think the reason that I start my morning with meditation is because I'm so dead when I get out of bed that to think about jumping right into exercise like you do, I'm like, I need a minute to wake up and to get back in my body from a state of being awake and not sleeping. So having that 10 minutes to meditate before I then get into exercise has been a game changer. So first thing I do, wake up, put on my app, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I love it. I need to do it more. And it's definitely something that's on my to-do list of making that part of my routine. And what I start my morning routine with is the second M, and that's movement.
Move. You better get moving.
Yes. And we've talked about this before. I stumble into my workout room, whether I start right with strength training or I get on my treadmill, but I can hardly even keep my eyes open at that point. It just, once I get my body moving, it wakes everything up.
Yeah.
Everything comes alive. And the reason why movement is so important, not only, you know, we all know we should do it, but to be honest, the number one killer in the entire world and in the US is heart disease. And it's so important to get your heart rate up. You know, people like to count their steps and they look at them and go, oh, I got 7,000 today. But how many of those steps was your heart rate up? You know, were you breaking a sweat? Were you making it difficult to breathe? Because that's what your heart needs. You need to work your heart. And heart disease is just, it's a killer. It's taking so many people out and way too young. And a big part of a lot of people's why they want to start this health journey or they want to start being more intentional is they want to live longer. And exercise does exactly that. And not only helps you live longer, but a higher quality of life. You know, you're going to have a better mood because of the endorphins that you release when you're exercising. You're going to have more energy to do the things that you love and keep up with the people that you love. You know, those things alone.
Yeah.
It's
like
like
confidence.
Yeah.
Right? Like you challenge yourself. You get stronger. You notice that you feel better. You look better, you know, and you challenge yourself. And in that itself builds your confidence that you can take on, and it pours into all areas of your life.
Right. And the reason why movement is part of the morning and why that's essential, and it's not like, obviously there's going to be people have different schedules and you're going to have to fit it in where you can, but there are extra benefits of fitting it in the morning. So I read a bunch of studies, and across the board, if you start with your exercise routine in the morning compared to somewhere else in the day, you're going to have more favorable blood pressure readings and glucose readings if you start with it in the morning. And also, if you start with it in the morning, you're going to be more likely to want to fit in little bursts throughout the day too. So if you start with it, it just exponentially adds value to your life and to your health. I read a study from Medicine and Science in Sports and Exercise about how starting with exercise affects your hunger cues. Super interesting. So they had 35 women that they had them exercise in the morning. I think it was for like 30 days straight.
Yeah.
And they did this test of like them looking at food, different images on the screen, and they recorded their hunger cues, like how strong their hunger cues were when they saw certain foods, right? And then 30 days later, after not exercising in the morning, exercising anywhere else or not at all or whatever, their hunger cues were way stronger. And so they were craving things way more than if they were having exercise as part of their morning routine.
Interesting.
I didn't know this.
Yes.
I was like, wow, like, why am I eating the foods I'm eating if I didn't exercise? I like never really thought about that before. Interesting.
I'm glad. It's good to know that there's, something in the brain with it too, because just the way I feel like I can make better choices throughout the day because I am happy with myself that, hell yeah, I did that. I woke up, I got a kick-ass workout in, and now throughout the day, I can do hard things.
Yep.
But really, it's affecting your brain too.
Oh, 100%. And that is exactly what I wanted to dive into because, and I was thinking about this the other day. So many of the topics we talk about are about your physical health, but it all comes back to the brain and mental health. I mean, it's how we talk to ourselves. It's how we feel. It's how we interact with people. And so I watched this TED Talk from Wendy Suzuki, and she's a neuroscientist. And it was super interesting. Yeah. She was saying that the most transformative thing you can do for your brain is exercise. And so she's talking about immediately the mood, immediately the energy. But then she was talking about these long-term effects. And so that's when I'm talking about like quality of life long-term with your memory. So in your brain, initially you have more focus and attention, but long-term it protects you because it's making your hippocampus and your prefrontal cortex bigger. So as these neurological disorders try and take over your brain, the more matter you have, the harder for it is to deteriorate your brain. So it's bigger because you've exercised so much. And so the ability for you to use these parts of your brain are better.
Yeah.
And you're more likely to have the capacity that you've had your entire life to remember things and to avoid these illnesses if you have regular exercise.
So you're telling me that not only are my muscles getting bigger, but my brain's getting bigger too.
Isn't that interesting? I thought that was so cool.
That is awesome.
And so she said, in order to get these long-term effects, it's 3 to 4 days a week for 30 minutes of cardiovascular exercise. What she's actually working on is her mission in life, this neuroscientist, is to determine exactly what time of day
is the best
and type of exercise is the absolute best for your brain.
Oh my gosh, we have to follow up.
I know. Wendy Suzuki, she's going to tell us. It's so interesting.
I love it.
So just to wrap up movement, I know I'm thinking of running, that's what I do, but that is not what you have to do. Whatever it is that gets your heart rate up, if it's swimming, if it's biking, if it's a power walk or any type of machine you want to be on that can get your heart rate up, or dancing at home, it's no equipment. It really is something that you can do to get your heart rate up. And there are so many apps now. There are so many YouTube videos to get your heart rate up. You could follow our TikTok and just try and do these little dances we're doing, and your heart rate, I mean, we are sweating in these things because
I was say I burn probably more calories doing a TikTok than I do on a run.
I know, sometimes I'm like, did that count for my strength training or my cardio today? Because I'm pretty sure that took 42 takes and it took me like 30 minutes to make that. So yes. So movement is important, and it's extra important in the morning. If you can fit it in the morning, even if it's 5 minutes, get that burst in and help yourself out, help your brain out.
Yeah. Movement is medicine. So once you've cleared your mind, got your heart rate up, you are then in the zone to own your day. And you have to organize it. Yes. You have to know what the heck you're doing.
Yes. So our third M is what, Brooke?
Mapping. Yes. Oh, I know what you're thinking. Mapping? What does that mean? Oh, let me tell you. How do you organize your day? Is it a to-do list? Is it affirmations to get yourself in the right headspace even more. How do you want to feel? Mapping out, being intentional with what are you doing? And my favorite way to do this is the brain dump. We talked about it in one of our very first episodes. So if you're new around here, I'll explain again. The brain dump. It's from Brooke Castillo, Life Coach School. And she says that a to-do list needs to be in your calendar. So this is how she does her to-do list so that nothing gets left behind and to make sure that you get it done. So you do the brain dump. You take a piece of paper, you write down everything you want to get done.
In the entire week.
Everything. Yep. So Monday mornings is typically when I do my brain dump. Wake up, meditate, exercise, write down everything I want to get done for the week. And then I schedule it into my calendar. Once I have all of those into my calendar, even if it's take a bath, get a car wash, whatever it is, anything big or small, put it in your calendar and throw the piece of paper away because now it is in your schedule.
It feels great.
If you miss something, then you reschedule it. And what she says and what I've noticed is the more that you don't stay committed to when you said you'd get it done, then you have to keep moving it and it's annoying as hell. So you're like, I'm just going to get it done. You know exactly what you're doing. We do our schedules hour by hour and it is so helpful because I know exactly what I need to do is going to get done and I've planned for it. I have it in my calendar. So what I'm doing that hour, I've already planned out and I can be fully present in doing that. I don't have to worry about everything that needs to get done. If something comes to mind, I'll just write it down and then add it in my schedule again and keep going as new things pop up. But it's this idea of put it in your calendar. If you don't put it in your calendar, it's not going to happen.
Right. And you only have so many hours in a day. And we always say, I'll get to it. And we're constantly thinking about that thing we should do, or we forget about the thing we should have done. And then we have guilt because we forgot about something. Or, you know, we want to commit to these things with people that ask us, hey, could you get together on Thursday night? And you have no idea for sure because nothing's in your calendar, you know? And so, I mean, Justin and I have this all the time. He'll be like, oh, you're recording on Saturday? That's not in the calendar. And I'm like, oh, you're right. And if it was, it would create less conflict in my marriage too. So it's really about being intentional and owning your week and knowing I'm in charge of this. I'm running the schedule. I've been thoughtful. I've thought about my kids. I've thought about my personal life, my social life, my work, all the things I want to do. And then you can see I don't have time for some of the things I really want to do. What can I shift? You know, and Britt Williams helped a lot with that, kind of how to delegate or delete. And it's so important to do the brain dump so that you can actually see visually, like, I have way more time than I thought, or I'm going to need to knock some of these things out that aren't that important to me. Maybe knock down some Netflix time for something that's a little bit more important than that.
Yeah. And scheduling in things that are going to fill you back up, right? Taking time to get back to you. And so first thing in the morning is meditating, is movement. I have these things scheduled in and I know that they're going to get done. And if they don't, I'm going to see it on my calendar and I'm going to be like, ugh.
Yep. And I think too, it's about setting that intention. It's about, I'm intentionally putting these things in my path because especially like I think about my life and it's like squirrel, like I get distracted by someone else that needs something from me. And I get requests all the time of what my kids need and things come up that you don't expect with school or birthday parties or whatever. And it's like, if I don't run my day is going to run me. And that is such a powerless feeling. It does not feel good to feel like everybody else is taking up your time and different things are getting in the way. If you have that clear picture of what I want my day to look like, it's a game changer.
Yeah, it's having a plan is so key, so important. And I always tell my clients, it's one of my favorite quotes is fail to plan, plan to fail. If you don't have a plan to follow, exactly what you're saying, you're letting life run you when you have control. You do. And another part of mapping that I love and is a part of my morning routine is gratitude. Mapping out what I'm grateful for. And that alone puts me in an amazing headspace for the day because then I'm looking for things. I'm being appreciative. I'm in a space of abundance and love. And I then give more love.
And like you said, I think you search for those things. You search for like, what else can I be grateful for? And you're looking for the good. I think that is such a great way to say that is abundance instead of scarcity. Big time.
Yeah, gratitude and then also affirmations. So every morning I do my 5-minute journal, and it has 3 things you're grateful for, an affirmation, what will make today great. And it's 3 things. Like, what do I need to get done that's going to make today great? And that's totally a part of mapping. So maybe it's get a good workout in. You know, I always say movement with gold ivy, like whatever that can look like. But I'm setting that intention in the morning that I'm making this a priority. I'm making this a focus for my day because I know if I do, it's going to give me a good day.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you and I have to be productive people, right? We have a lot of moving parts. And so I think you can think of productivity being, you know, oh, I was busy all day doing stuff. But if you don't have an intention for what you're doing, you're just busy. You're not productive. You're just flying by the seat of your pants and probably spending way too much time on your phone or too much on something that's not a priority. If you're mapping it out, if you're being intentional and you're really saying like, I want to plan this out more, I want this done by this date, and you have a reason for it, it's just way more adds way more value to your day. Yeah. If that's the way you're thinking it through, instead of just being busy and doing whatever comes to you, like own it, flip it, be in charge of it.
Makes you feel like a badass. Yeah. When you feel like you're in control, you get the things done at the right time. You're not overthinking it. You're in a flow state. Having a morning routine gets you in a flow state. And when we're in a flow state, we do things that are important to us. We can think from a clear spot. We can give love because we're not stressed. It sets your day up. It sets your week up, your month, your life.
Your health. I mean, mapping is also your finances. It's your food plan. It's anything that you're doing on a regular basis to be more intentional about. And so I think that's such a great way to think about it, is like, how do you want to feel? Yes, but also we want to live these big, abundant lives. We have to take care of our health. We have to work on reducing the stress and work on getting your heart rate up and work on being intentional about where our money is going so we're not so stressed, what type of food we're bringing to our home and how we're going to cook it so that you save money and you're having nutritious foods as much as you can in your home. I think mapping is unique and personal to everyone, but I think it's especially for the things you're doing over and over and over, especially for the big dreams that you have, really being intentional and like running that thing and owning it and feeling like, I have thought this through. I'm here because I planned this because it's important to me. And now I'm going to look you in the eyes and care about our time together because it's not random. It's actually really intentional, and you live life more on purpose.
Absolutely. I think the first step in all of this is believing that you have control. If you don't believe that you have the power to own your morning, own your day, to be intentional, no one else controls that. You do. The things that you put in your calendar that fill your life, you're choosing those things. And when you believe that, you give yourself power to make choices that are important to you, to change your life. And the first step is being aware. So that's why meditation is so important, being intentional. How do we know what's important to us if we don't know who we are? And that's where mindfulness comes into play. We realize we have this time to reflect on what's important to us. Once we know who we are and what's important to us, we can then map out things that are important to us and that are going to give us that life that's on purpose. We can live our purpose.
All right, so that's it. Those are our 3 M's: meditation, movement, and mapping. Start prioritizing our 3 M's in your morning routine, and you'll find that you have a more peaceful, energetic, and intentional day.
You're a badass. You can do it. Own your morning, own your life.
If you found value in this episode or any other episodes, it's really important that we hear from you, and it makes our day when you shoot us a review or give us some gold stars on Apple or Spotify, YouTube, all of it. It's really helpful for us to share our message, and we appreciate any feedback that we get from you guys.
Yeah, we want to know what's resonating with you, and also sharing it with friends. Help spread our message so that more people can love life and take care of themselves, because it's hard.
Yes.
And we all need to support each other.
That's right.
And today, your piece of gold comes from Jay Shetty. Jay says, the energy and mood of the morning carries through the day. So making life more meaningful begins there.
This is Gold Ivy signing off.
Listen to your truth and go chase your gold.